A tremor of anticipation ran through the hushed corridors of Clarence House the moment Prince William arrived for a late-night briefing. Under the golden glow of antique wall sconces, he brushed a hand through his hair, eyes fixed on the folders awaiting his signature. Sources close to the heir insist this was no routine meeting. William has quietly conveyed to senior courtiers that, as his father's health falters, he expects to assume a far more commanding role in the monarchy's day-to-day affairs. For decades he stood patiently at Charles's side, the dutiful son and heir apparent. Now, according to palace insiders, he believes the time has come to steer the ship himself. Just weeks earlier, Buckingham Palace issued an upbeat statement. At 75, the king remains fully engaged in state business and official paperwork even while undergoing outpatient cancer treatment. Yet the veneer of calm belies a deeper unease. In a private audience, aides confessed to seeing Charles's hand tremble as he laid his pen down, his brow furrowed with fatigue. He's determined to carry on, a long-serving courtier reveals, but every signed dispatch seems to cost him more than the last. And as he presses on, so too does William apply a gentle but unrelenting pressure, readying himself to shoulder the crown's responsibilities when the moment demands. The dynamic between father and son has always been suffused with affection and respect, rarely, if ever, punctuated by sharp words. Yet those who inhabit the palace's inner sanctum warn that William's ambitions could clash violently with Charles's pride. The king loathes being told what to do, one senior aide confides. And William's not exactly known for subtlety. Picture the scene, 2 generations of royal duty, face to face across a mahogany desk, each convinced they hold the key to the monarchy's future. The silence there, insiders say, is heavy with unspoken challenges. As Charles grapples with his own mortality, another blow lands from a source he can neither command nor comfort. His younger son, Prince Harry, has announced plans to abandon the Mountbatten-Windsor surname and adopt Spencer, his mother's maiden name. After stepping back from royal duties in 2020, Harry and Meghan Markle have built a new life in California, amassing a combined fortune now estimated at $60 million, nearly double Harry's net worth of 2017. Thanks largely to Meghan's business ventures and the couple's lucrative media deals. Yet behind the glamour lies an undercurrent of bitterness. Harry's recent BBC interview, in which he admitted, "I don't know how much longer my father has," and lamented that Charles won't speak to me, has thrown salt into old wounds. He's unleashing another emotional blow at the worst possible time. A palace watcher laments, and there are whispers that Harry's legal battles, including a failed challenge over police protection that cost the Home Office £656,000, may soon saddle him with an additional £1.5 million bill. In the midst of this familial crossfire, King Charles refuses to slow his pace. On a crisp morning at St. Paul's Cathedral, he descended the steps alone. Queen Camilla, despite stern pleas from aides, had excused herself, wary of his stamina. Later, inside the hallowed nave, ritzy tapestries and marble columns bore silent witness as Charles shook hands with veterans, his posture regal yet undeniably frail. By afternoon, however, he retreated to Clarence House, where medical staff keep a discreet vigil. He's determined to fulfill every engagement, one insider notes, but his strength wanes as the day wears on. Courtiers have begged Camilla to apply a break, to insist Charles rest, to lighten his calendar. Yet those closest to the Queen Consort say she's doubled down, convinced that the Crown's work cannot pause for illness. In crimson-lined chambers, she has argued that showing any sign of weakness could embolden critics and unsettle the nation. Camilla believes endurance is the highest form of loyalty, reports a confidant. She sees any retreat as surrender. Her resolve only deepens the tension. While Charles fights to preserve his legacy, Camilla fights to preserve his agency, even at the risk of overextending him. Beneath these power struggles lies another quiet ambition, Camilla's own yearning to take on fresh patronages. At a recent garden party, she confided to a small circle that she harbors a desire to co-lead the Royal Horticultural Society's museum, a role currently held by the king himself. Observers noted her eyes sparkled as she spoke of cataloguing botanical archives, yet some courtiers viewed the admission as overreach. It was as if she mapped out her next conquest, one eyewitness quipped. And not everyone in the room was entirely supportive. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan find themselves watching from afar, unwelcome guests at the king's private councils. They're aware of every detail in the papers, yet barred from the real conversations, an insider says. Meghan, ever the strategist, remains focused on their brand and their California life. Harry, by contrast, seems haunted by a longing to reclaim a place in the family fold. Each unsent text, each unanswered call, fuels his frustration and the whispers among palace staff that he may seek a symbolic gesture of reconciliation when the time is right. Amid this strife, Princess Catherine's role is quieter but no less pivotal. Shoulder to shoulder with William at investitures and state dinners, she radiates calm competence. Yet close aides reveal she has quietly counseled both Charles and William, urging deference to the king's wishes while encouraging the heir to recognize the weight of leadership before assuming it. Catherine senses the fault lines, a source discloses. She's walking a tightrope between loyalty and legacy. Her measured interventions have so far staved off open confrontation, but even she acknowledges that a misstep could trigger a rupture no diplomacy can mend. In the palace kitchens, staff whisper of midnight gatherings among senior advisors, coffee cups left half-drunk, hastily scrawled notes passed beneath doors, and urgent requests for constitutional opinion. They speak of a shadowy transition committee, convened in utmost secrecy, charged with planning for scenarios ranging from a brief regency to a full transfer of power. Even the palace guards, normally stoic at their posts, exchange furtive glances when asked about what happens next. Each new arrangement of chairs in the king's study, each last-minute reshuffling of titles, sends tremors through the royal apparatus. As Christmas approaches, the palace transforms into a tangle of glittering lights and whispered anxieties. Will Charles preside over Sandringham's annual lunch, or will the Knights' Hall be dark without him? Will William step forward to host in his father's stead, or will Camilla claim the honor in his absence? And will Catherine, caught between father and son, emerge as the crown's unifying force or be forced to choose a side? Each question looms larger than the last, casting long shadows over every carol sung and every wreath laid. In the weeks ahead, all eyes will watch for the subtle signals: William's presence at late-night briefings, Charles's tremor-filled signature on state documents, Camilla's steadfast figure at ceremonial events, Harry's next public pronouncement, and Catherine's fateful word behind closed doors. For in the ultimate test of the monarchy's continuity, it will be these private battles, waged in hushed tones, glazed stares, and tension-charged silences, that determine who truly guides the crown into its next era. Until then, Britain holds its breath, knowing that every handshake, every title conferred, and every whispered rumor could prove to be the catalyst for a new chapter in royal history. And as the golden carriage sits ready in the palace yard, the question remains: who will climb into that seat next?